I'd like to talk this morning about what can be deemed quite controversial items, but we obviously see them from the British perspective. A lot of them were captured and brought back, but these are Third Reich daggers. They're actually brown shirts, daggers known as the SA. And we've got two specific examples here of pre-1934 daggers, and the reason we know that is the inscriptions that are on the blade. So I'll talk you through what the inscriptions mean, because it means something quite historically significant in terms of the time period covered and what it meant for history, sadly, because it's hard to talk about this as the lesser of two evils, but this is an inscription, if you can see, to Ernst Röhm, and it's in heartfelt comradeship of Ernst Röhm. Now, Ernst Röhm was the co-founder of the brown shirts of the SA, along with Adolf Hitler, and I think he then became their chief of staff, so he was like the main man for them. And 100,000 or so daggers were produced around that time, bearing this inscription. And this inscription is very rare, and I'll explain why. Because next to it is a dagger that would be exactly the same, except the inscription has been carefully filed off, so finely filed off from the maker's mark up. And you can actually see very closely the little tiny squiggle of the in, so I think it's in Herkelijke, in heartfelt. So you see the little squiggle at the top, that's the only remains you can possibly see under a glass. Now the reason that this one still has its inscription and this doesn't is all down to 1934 in June, what was known subsequently as the Night of the Long Knives. And this was when Ernst Röhm was obviously perceived by Hitler as being a threat to his goal, his individual goal and ambition. The SA themselves were considered quite a powerful unit by that stage, and he'd obviously had the SS and wanted to get rid of any threats to his singular ambition for power. Ernst Röhm was arrested along with lots of high-ranking officials in the SA. He was arrested, he was ordered to commit suicide, which he refused. He actually asked Hitler to personally put him to death, and he was actually killed by Michael Lippert, an SS member, a high SS member. He was killed, I believe the next day he was executed. Now, straight away, Hitler then just tried to eradicate anything that related to Ernst Röhm, including the inscription on these very daggers. So he actually issued an order, direct order, for all SA members to erase this. So this is what you'd see more of these, and it's very rare that somebody would actually go against the direct Hitler order to get rid of that, because that could be punishable by goodness knows what means, because it was going against that direct order. So whether this was put away safely because there were still feelings of loyalty towards Röhm, as this says, in heartfelt comradeship, or how exactly that survived, makes this the real rarity, makes this one somebody that complied to that order, but it still makes this one a pre-34 early dagger with the erased inscription on it. So two lovely examples that say something specific about history and a pivotal point in history, and as they say, as the phrase goes, the rest is history.